Come on. Hello. Spent most of yesterday wondering what it was. Destroyed my voice so much. And it was doing Bonnie's voice, oddly enough. Oh, it's a thing. Knowing my luck, this part's going to be really short.
Court is now back in session. Defendant, please step up to the witness stand.
Tracy Wright, magician. Here comes the liar, the deceitful witch. Throw her murderer in jail. Last member of that criminal troupe. Boo! We don't want to see you on stage, on any stage. There.
Order! The gallery will be quiet or I'll have you all thrown out on the spot.
What's with all the hecklers? I bet they're the fans Mr. Ratings invited. A grade A jerk. Oh, he's not going to psych us out.
Now then, Miss Wright. This court would like to know if you switched from the steel sword to a rubber one on stage. So please, testify about this issue.
She's just gonna try and trick us again with her magic. Hurry up and convict her already. Give her the death penalty. Yeah.
Silence, all of you! I won't tell you again. Miss Wright, do you feel able to testify?
Yes, I'm fine, Your Honor. Tracy, I know I shouldn't have let her go through with this. I'd like to make a small request. How about, instead of testifying with words, I show you exactly what happened. Would that be alright, Your Honor? You can witness my stupendous sword-switching magic and judge for yourself. In spite of everything, she's still smiling. Our Tracy's amazing, isn't she? She sure is. She's doing just fine up there. A true entertainer always keeps a smile on their face. She's faithfully following the troop grammar creed even now. She really is something else. It's showtime for magical girl Tracy Wright. Watch carefully now, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, please focus your attention on this sword. Allow me to demonstrate just how sharp this blade truly is. See that? No tricks or gimmicks. A very sharp sword indeed. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, watch as I take this sword and... Presto, swordo. There, I've switched it. And now? Hup. As you can see, the blade is not steel but rubber.
Bravo, Miss Wright!
Ow, she switched them in a flash. Didn't see her do it at all. She's completely turned the room around. The hecklers are being drowned out by all the cheering.
Where did the steel sword vanish off to, Miss Wright? In order to deepen our understanding of the case, please tell us if you would. I'm not asking out of mere curiosity, just so you know.
I usually hide the steel sword backstage when I switch them during the show.
So when you thrust the rubber sword into the coffin, the steel sword wasn't even on stage but behind the curtain.
Exactly. So you see, there is a trick and a gimmick to it after all. And as for where the steel sword went when I performed the trick just now, it's a secret. Wouldn't want to spoil the magic for you now, would I? That's our Trucy.
Yeah, still. Miss Wright? That part where you span around, that's an actual part of the sword switching trick you do for the show, right?
Right. The other parts, like the apple, were just to help with the explanation here in court.
That's funny. I think I found an inconsistency in her testimony. It looks like I'm not the only one. I don't know what it's doing there. But now that I've found it, I have to get to the bottom of it. Now then, Mr. Justice, you may go ahead and question the witness. But try not to ask dumb questions and spoil this wondrous magic.
Thought this was supposed to be my cross-examination.
Please be careful, Miss Wright.
Don't worry, I practiced this trick 1,000 times. That's right, Apollo. You have to give Trucy some credit. She knows what she's doing.
I know. Still makes me nervous every time.
But that's what magic is all about. A truly great magician can make her audience experience all kinds of thrills and chills.
I guess you're right. I'd better try not to interrupt her too much when she's doing the trick. I don't want to distract her or break her concentration.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, back to the exciting world of magic.
Miss Wright, please don't swing that big dangerous thing around. Somebody could get hurt.
Hello. Please don't shout when I'm swinging said blade around. Somebody could get hurt.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I couldn't help myself.
You should know better than to talk to me when I'm on stage.
Mr. Justice, I'll see you in my chambers after court is adjourned. Oh, I don't suppose somebody could make me disappear before that happens.
Let's just watch quietly, shall we, Apollo? And now, back to the show.
So it's definitely a real sword, right?
Now, Apollo. I know you're excited, but you have to control yourself.
Mr. Justice, if you needlessly interrupt this wonderful magic show again, I will be forced to bring my very real gavel down on your head.
The judge seems to be completely taken in by Trucy's magic.
Yeah, it's like she's cast a magic spell over him. I'd better not interrupt her anymore. There's no telling what the judge might do to me. Miss Wright, please ignore any further outbursts from Mr. Justice, and proceed with your spectacular trick.
Alright, here I go then.
Oops, I did it again.
I've had it up to here, Apollo. Can't you listen quietly like a big boy?
Sorry about that. Got a little too worked up.
Hello. Now, boys and girls, watch carefully and please don't kick the seat in front of you. I will now take this sword and...
So you switched the swords when you spun around just now.
That's right. It's the same way I do the trick in the actual magic show. Magic show too. But I'm also doing a lot of extra things that I don't do during the show right now, though. And the key point is the sword switching. If only we could prove she did it during the actual show too.
Right, prove that she switched them during the show.
What's the matter, Apollo? You look troubled.
Oh, it's nothing. Uh-oh, this is quite the pickle. How should I go about handling this? Miss Wright, please continue with your trick.
So you've all just witnessed me switching the swords?
Hold it!
Watch out! Eh, what do you think you're doing, Apollo?
But you were putting yourself in danger. You couldn't just stand by and not say something. Mr. Justice, you're putting your head in danger of meeting my gavel.
Apollo, you better apologize before you become this case's next victim.
I'm very sorry, everyone. How did it come to this?
Alright, boys and girls. If you want to ask for an encore, wait until the end, okay? Now then, my sword was sharp as steel just moments ago, but...
Hold it!
Ow, that's incredible. When in the world did you switch them?
Huh? But I explained it once already.
Could you show it to me again?
Sure. But remember, a magician doesn't usually share her secrets. So this is a very special exception.
I'm very grateful for your generosity, believe me. Better take a good hard look at the instant she switches the swords.
Even though she explained how she does it, I still can't see her do it. Blows me away no matter how many times I watch.
Me too, but
What is it, Apollo?
did you notice anything about the way Trucy moves during the trick?
You mean like her movements?
I don't get it. What's the real story, Trucy? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Objection!
Miss Wright, there's something I'd like to confirm with you.
What is it, Apollo?
There seems to be a discrepancy between the way you performed the trick for us just now and the way it appears in the show footage.
What? But that can't be. I performed it exactly the same way both times.
Then what's going on here? Miss Wright, I have the show footage right here. And the part where you twirl your cape around is missing from it.
What? But I did it.
So... it really is the exact moment you switch the swords.
Yes, that's right.
I knew it. Well, I certainly never expected the defense to expose the accused lie for me. Mr. Justice, does this mean that you are arguing that the defendant did not swap the swords during the actual magic show? No, Your Honor. That wasn't my intention. I mean...
I did swap them. I know I did. I'm absolutely sure of it.
Objection!
Human memory is unreliable at best, and in this case, I'm afraid that it is the witness herself who cannot be trusted. We can see the footage for ourselves. The claims of this witness are false.
But...
Now that it has been proven that the accused did not swap swords, it means that the use of the steel sword to pierce the coffin was wholly intentional. And by the way, was it not you, Mr. Justice, who argued that Mr. Roos's death was not an accident but murder?
I assume you have no objection to that still. It was, after all, your own assertion. The defense, The defense is an objection. To you, Mr. Apollo Justice. I demand you withdraw the discrepancy you pointed out now. But there is a discrepancy, and it must mean something. I'm sure of it.
Would the defense team kindly save their spat until after court is adjourned? Now, after all of this debate, it seems we've come back around to the original argument. The defendant knew about the prank plan that would place the victim inside the coffin. What's more, the defendant did not perform the sword-switching trick on stage.
Through our actions, I'm afraid I've come to see the true intentions of the accused. Murderous intentions.
Such a shame.
But I did switch the swords. I swear. You're knee-deep in it now, Justice. Excuse me.
Let's see, you are, which one again? Penny? No, that's not right. A Botty?
It's Bonnie. You were mixing the two names together, Your Honor.
Oh, pardon me. And do you have something you wish to say, Bonnie?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to testify. About what? The more I think about it, the less possible it seems. I don't believe Tracy killed Mr. Roos. Bonnie? Hey, what's that big idea? Such an incredibly gifted and talented magician would never commit murder. I refuse to believe it. What are you talking about, you harebrained hare? You keep your trap shut. I've got a bag of baby carrots for you, so chew on those and pipe down. No, I won't be quiet. What's the matter with you? Didn't you hear me? Tracy said something to me once. Huh? She said, no matter how scared you get, no matter how mean people are to you, you can't give in or give up. That's what being a professional magician is all about. Isn't that right, Tracy? That's right, Bonnie. I've always been afraid to stand up to Betty, afraid to defy her, so I did what she said. When I saw Tracy today, she gave me strength.
She's just gonna try and trick us again with her magic. Hurry up and convict her already. Give her the death penalty.
I'd like to make a small request. How about, instead of testifying with words, I show you exactly what happened? Would that be alright, Your Honor? You can witness my stupendous sword-switching magic and judge for yourselves. Seeing her courage, the way she kept smiling despite everything, she's just incredible. So I'm not going to run away. I'm scared, but for once, I'm going to be brave. What have you done to my sister, Tracy Wright? You practically brainwashed her. It's the power of Tracy's convictions. That's what it is. It's touched Bonnie's heart. Yeah, Tracy really is one magical girl. Bonnie, is the topic of your testimony related to that thing that was bothering you? The thing you tried to tell us about in the lobby during the recess? Yes. Ever since I saw the footage, something's been nagging at me. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but something is off. I feel like something about it is different from what I saw on the stage.
What do you mean by that, Bonnie?
I wonder if what was shown on TV is really the same as what happened on stage.
Objection.
Of course it is. This show has only been performed once, after all. It can't show anything other than what happened on that stage yesterday.
Objection.
Bonnie's testimony deserves our attention. We have to examine the show footage. But what can we check it against? Do you have some other footage of the show? Well,
I have some show footage
you do?
of the TV station's cameraman. One of the TV station's cameramen said he was a fan of mine. He kept his camera on me throughout the entire show. And then afterwards, he gave me the footage he shot as a present.
He did?
To tell you the truth, I thought it was kind of creepy, so I was going to get rid of it.
Hold it.
Please submit that footage to the court. Now then, let's take a look at this new footage. Whoa. Okay then. You really did keep his camera on Bonnie the whole time, didn't you?
I think this cameraman needs to keep his personal feelings out of his work.
Well, defense, do you still believe this new show footage is worth inspecting? Of course I do.
Okay, so how are we going to go about this?
Let's try comparing the two. We just might find an inconsistency between them.
An inconsistency, huh?
Yes, the two pieces of footage are of the same scene, so they should match up. Bonnie felt there was something off about the original footage. So if we can pick out what's different between the two...
We'll know what Bunny found strange.
Exactly. Plus, we may figure out why the original doesn't show the sword switching trick. Your Honour, the defence would like to compare these two pieces of show footage. Very well, I will allow it. What a waste of time.
Hello, do you know how to compare the two pieces of footage?
Nope, I've never done it before.
I'll give you a little lesson then. Use the button on the bottom of the screen to operate the playback. When you want to speed through, touch the fast forward button. If you want to go back, touch the rewind button. If you want to halt the playback, you can touch the pause button. By the way, if you fast forward or rewind when the playback is paused, you can do a slow frame-by-frame playback.
Okay, and so how do I switch between the two videos?
Just touch the switch camera button at the top left. Now, if you find the difference between the two pieces of footage, put the cursor over what's different and present it to the court.
Thanks, Athena. You really know your stuff.
Not really. I just gave it some gusto and then went with my gut on most of it. What? I sure hope she guessed right. Anyway, let's give it a try. Mm-hmm.
Take that!
And this is it right here. Take a good look at this scene and compare it to the video shot from the front.
Oh, the playing cards don't appear in the video shot from the front.
Hey, you're right. What's going on here? Miss Wright, what can you tell us about these playing cards? Oh, those. They're the cards I throw when I do the sword switching trick. What?
Mr. Justice, does this mean...
Yes, it means that the sword switching trick was cut from the TV show footage. So the footage was edited. Yes, with malicious intent. That is absurd.
Well, we must get to the bottom of this right away. Bailiff, the TV station might still have the unedited footage. Go see what you can find out.
Yes, Your Honor. It's you.
Now, hold up, Your Honor. This is all just a big misunderstanding, believe you me. Give a guy a chance to defend himself before you start pointing fingers. And who might you be? Right, sorry about that. I got ahead of myself there. Here's my business card. Charmed to make your acquaintance, Your Honor. Oh, well, how very polite of you. It's lovely to meet you too, Prosecutor Shamadi. Please take my card.
Business card. Ah, yes. I read about this custom among businessmen in this country. I have even familiarized myself with the various replies. How do you do, good sir? Or what's crack-a-lacking, homie, for example?
Oh, you're from Take-Two TV, are you, witness? Come to think of it, I believe I've seen you on television before.
Yes, Roger Ratings, otherwise known as the Ratings Roger. He is a TV producer and appears on many of his own shows as of late. He is best known for his catchphrase, "Hang loose, baby."
Oh my, so you're the Ratings Roger. Hang loose, judgy baby. Nice courtroom you got here. I never thought I'd get to meet you in person. But Prosecutor Shamadi, how do you know so much about him?
In preparation for the case, I watched all of his shows. I found the Ratings Roger Goes to Burger Barn of particular interest. It inspired me to visit that restaurant straight away to learn more about the local cuisine.
What? You went to Burger Barn?
Who would have thought?
You must have really wanted to try it, huh? Buddy, 'cause that line,
Compared to my esoteric training, an hour's wait is nothing. I recommend the Southwest Burger with jalapeno jack cheese, by the way. I'm having a real hard time picturing him in line for burgers.
Prosecutor Shamari. Unexpected enthusiasm for food aside. Mr. Ratings, what is this misunderstanding you mentioned?
Well, for starters, it's true that the footage was edited. You'll get your hands on this anyway, so I might as well show you the unedited footage. It's a pretty long video, so I'll just show you the part with the playing cards. You can see the cards when Trucy spins around, so keep your eyes peeled. Did you see the part that was cut where Trucy switched the swords? She spins around and playing cards go flying. Everything like it's supposed to be.
Then it seems that the defendant really did swap swords during the trick.
Which means the sword Miss Wright thrust into the coffin was the rubber one. In other words, Miss Wright couldn't have killed Mr. Roos. Yeah, see, that's the first misunderstanding right there. What do you mean? Well, Trucy definitely did swap swords, as you saw. So yeah, maybe she didn't kill Mr. Roos when she stabbed the coffin. And that just means he was killed after he showed up pretending to be a corpse. So, you're saying that up until that point, everything was going according to the script? If that's true, then when and how exactly do you think he was killed? It was after the dragon set piece came crashing down. I say Trucy murdered Mr. Roos when she was hidden from view behind the set piece. She could have easily done it behind that huge dragon and nobody'd be the wiser. I see. Indeed, there is a ring of truth to your recitation. You bet. Plus, there's a suspicious-looking shadow in the footage, too. It's towards the end of the footage, just before the dragon hits the stage. It might be easier to just see it for yourselves. It's only for a split second, so it's hard to catch, but look here. This suspicious shadow must be Trucy. She's using the steel sword she hid behind the curtain during the trick to kill the victim.
Now that you mention it, I suppose it does look that way.
Objection!
This witness is just trying to ram his theory down our throats, Your Honor. And that's not all. Aren't we forgetting that the witness willfully edited the sword switching out of the footage? You see, there's your second misunderstanding right there. Your Honor, would you mind if I testified about it? I've seen people testify on TV and I've always wanted to give it a shot.
That will be fine with me, Prosecutor Shamadi.
This is quite unexpected. It threatens to disrupt the karmic course of this case.
Hey, lighten up, pretty boy.
You're gonna like what I've got to say, promise. Very well. However, if you do anything to impede the last rites for the victim, I will have you removed.
All right. With Prosecutor Shamadi's permission, please give us your testimony, Mr. Ratings.
Roger Ratings, the Ratings Roger, now Kaiser of the courtroom. I'm taking over the floor, so listen up, loyal viewers. Footage is meant to be edited, I tell you. Scenes are spliced together, and long or boring scenes are cut out. All the stations edit footage this way. It wasn't like it was done maliciously or something. It was just a coincidence that particular scene was cut. It wasn't intentional. Or what? You got some proof that I had an ulterior motive for editing that footage?
I see. So you're saying it was a coincidence that the sword-swapping scene was cut?
That's right. Glad you got the picture.
Objection!
Coincidence? That's just a little too convenient if you ask me. Oh, an objection? How cool. Short packs a lot more punch when you hear it live. Do that again. I want to get another shot from a different angle. My objection is not for your entertainment. And cut. There, got some good stuff there.
Mr. Ratings, filming is prohibited inside the courthouse.
Whoops, my bad, Judge.
And if the defense has an issue, it can point it out during its cross-examination.
Hold it!
Really? I've never heard anybody say that. It's common knowledge in the TV world. You got any idea what a snooze cruise it'd be to watch a magic show without editing? A magic show like that one anyway. That was ice cold. Anyway, editing is what makes TV worth watching.
Hold it!
Are you saying you thought there were boring scenes in Miss Wright's magic show? You've got to ask. That script and presentation deserve a place on the cutting room floor. Broadcasting that mess as is would have been a complete disaster. That's why I had to edit the footage. It's just what a TV man does. What didn't you like about the show exactly?
The whole thing. It was a major snooze fest. Maybe common folk like you don't get it. But a show's only as good as how loud and flashy and trashy it is.
It was plenty loud and flashy on its own. All you did was add the trash. I suppose each industry has its own way of doing things. Just as we in the legal profession focus exclusively on evidence and testimony.
Exactly. Whether it's showbiz nor the legal biz, we do what we gotta do to get the job done. Anyway, editing footage is just a matter of course in the TV industry.
Hold it!
Wasn't done maliciously, huh? But I get the distinct impression that you bear feelings of ill will towards Troop Grammary. What makes you think that? Things that you yourself have said.
You'll see. I'll dig up the dirt and expose the dark art behind that sweet smile. I'll prove those grammary magicians are all a bunch of lowlives.
And I also get the impression that you felt this way for a long time.
Objection!
Words such as those can be interpreted in many different ways. For example, though I bear the defense no ill will, I would not hesitate to say that he is a good-for-nothing lout of a lawyer. You bear me no ill will. Could have fooled me. And yet, it is the truth. I am only strict on you, as it seems you have strayed from the path.
If you have any objections, Mr. Justice, please make your case with evidence in the future. Mr. Ratens, please continue your testimony.
Hold it!
Of all the scenes you could have cut, why the sword switching trick? That seems like too much of a coincidence to me. Ah, so now you're gonna tell me how I'm supposed to edit my programs, big shot. Stop being the boss, kid. You gotta make the tough choices, like which content gets cut. And let me ask you this. Why exactly did you make such a tough choice in this case? You wouldn't understand, champ. It's all about artistic vision. I'll tell you. People will tell you how to do your job when they don't know the first thing about it. I may not know TV, but I know evidence law. Boy, do I have some for you, champ. I might not be able to show you selective editing was intentional. Show that your selective editing was intentional, but however, I know you bear the defendant ill will, and this is the evidence that proves it.
Take that!
Huh? What's that you got there? This is the contract you had Miss Wright sign just before the magic show. This contract between the first party, Take-Two TV, and the second party, Miss Wright, reads: if, through the fault of the second party, the show must be cancelled in part or in full, the second party will pay $3 million as compensation to the first party.
$3 million? That's a completely unreasonable sum.
I couldn't agree more, and of course Miss Wright doesn't have that kind of money. Nevertheless, Roger Ratings had her sign this unreasonable contract anyway. Or more accurately, he conned her into signing it.
Conned her? How did he do that?
There's a trick to the clipboard that was used by Miss Wright to sign her contract. It houses a carbon paper that can secretly copy her signature onto other documents. Oh, come on now. That's quite a nasty accusation you're slinging my way. For starters, you don't have any proof I had anything to do with that carbon paper stuff. Just because Trucy and her agency can't pay up, that doesn't mean I conned her.
But $3 million, that's totally out of reach for the average person. In any case, this is important new information. Please add it to your testimony, Mr. Ratings.
Where's your proof linking me to that tricked out clipboard? You don't have any, do you?
Hold it!
This clipboard is yours, though, isn't it, Mr. Ratings? Well, it belongs to the TV station anyway. That much I know. Maybe it was an old prop from one of our TV shows that got used by mistake. Or maybe you used it on purpose. To con Miss Wright.
Objection!
Mr. Ratings has already stated that he did not. Mr. Justice, please do not use this trial to try to get out of paying your agency's debt. That's not what I'm doing. Proof Mr. Ratings is connected to the carbon paper, huh? Tracy's signature was copied onto the fake contract. And there must be an original contract that Tracy actually did sign. True, but I bet Ratings is too savvy to leave something like that behind as evidence. But what if her signature was copied onto more than just the fake contract? Like a third document with Tracy's signature on it? Have you seen anything like that, though? Hey, what are you guys whispering about? Let me continue my testimony.
Hold it!
What other scenes did you cut from the footage? Huh? Oh, no others, I guess. You mean you only edited out the sword-switching trick scene and nothing else? Don't you think it's too much of a stretch to claim that as mere coincidence?
Objection!
No matter how artificial you find the affair, stranger things have happened on their own. That is, unless you have something with which to prove otherwise, defense. Well, if you have a valid criticism of Mr. Ratings' testimony, feel free to counter with evidence. Well, Apollo, would sure make things easier if we had some
I think the defense team needs to be edited out of this trial. That's what they need. I'll have to clean up this footage later. He isn't really going to put this on TV, is he? Proof that Trucy's signature was copied, huh?
But we don't have proof. That's why our agency is under seizure right now.
True. Or do we?
Objection!
You must be quite the con man if you can fool a magician with a simple trick. But if you think you can con a lawyer, you're very much mistaken.
Hey kid, would it kill you to enunciate in front of the camera? You know, like a newscaster.
I'd like you to take a look at Miss Wright's signature here on this note. Now let's compare that signature to the one here on this contract.
Well, would you look at that? They're exactly the same.
That's right, Your Honour. Not just similar, but exactly the same. Nobody can sign their name in exactly the same way twice, unless it's a copy. These signatures are proof positive that you con Miss Wright. And they're definite. And they definitely prove your malicious intent.
Say, not bad, lawyer guy. Didn't know you had it in you. This is really getting interesting now. It'll get great ratings for sure.
Don't try to dodge the issue, Mr. Ratings. The fact that you bear ill will against my client. So the show footage was definitely edited with the malicious intent. Isn't that right?
Objection!
What a forced argument, defense. All you have really proven is not his ill will towards Miss Wright, but his pecuniary greed. That's right. I just wanted money, baby. Fat stacks of cheddar, that's all. After all, I'd never even crossed paths with Trucy before this magic show. So I'd have absolutely no reason to bear her any ill will, right?
You didn't bear her any ill will, huh? Fat chance. This guy definitely has some major aim for Trucy.
You'll see. I'll dig up the dirt and expose the dark heart behind that sweet smile. I'll prove those grammary magicians are all a bunch of lowlives.
Can't prove it with anything, but the things he said all point to that fact. There must be something between the two of them that gave birth to this grudge. Some sort of connection that not even Trucy is aware of. Your Honour, I'd like to argue that Roger Ratings and Trucy Wright must have crossed paths before. There must be some hidden connection between them.
Hidden?
Connection?
What is it now? Just what are you getting at, Mr. Wright? It is futile to even ask, Your Honour. Surely it is just another one of the defence's feckless claims.
Objection!
You don't seem to have a very high opinion of me, but once you hear my argument, you'll wish you'd taken me a whole lot more seriously. Will I really? Very well then, do proceed. Did you figure something out, Apollo?
Nope, not a thing.
What? That was just some good old-fashioned bluffing, courtesy of Mr. Wright's fine training. I hope you know what you're doing.
If you're going to make such a bold claim, Mr. Justice, I hope you're ready to elaborate. What is this hidden connection between the defendant and Roger Ratings?
Ratings is a magician too. That sleight of hand trick Mr. Ratings did during the recess earlier. Filming is prohibited inside the courthouse. Do you want me to get the bailiff?
filming? What are you talking about? I don't even have a camera on me.
What if Mr. Ratings is a magician too?
What if? I believe it's up to the defense to fill in the blanks, not me.
Well, if he is, he may have had some contact with Miss Wright somewhere along the line. Along the way. Your argument is hardly worth responding to. But by all means, please do continue. As a passage in the sacred scriptures of Curinism states, he who gives a sermon to a monkey is himself a monkey.
Yeah, doesn't matter what you say to a dimwit, he isn't gonna get it anyway.
But we saw Mr. Ratings perform a magic trick. He made his video camera disappear in the blink of an eye.
Well, I think it would be pretty funny if I were a magician. You must have been seeing things. Want me to introduce you to a good eye doctor?
If a connection as tenuous as that is all it takes, then every magician in the country could potentially bear ill will toward the accused.
I guess you're right. You're not the sharpest knife in the drawer, are you, short stuff?
You would do well to cleanse that putrid mind of yours in the holy waters of Mount Pony. Oh my god. 3 days under a frigid waterfall, and even you should rise to the level of a monkey.
A numbskull for a numbskull.
Well, this numbskull has thick skin, so there. I think I get what they're driving at. Even if he is a magician, it's not exactly a reason to bear a grudge against Trucy, is it? Hold on. I can think of one person. One magician who has a reason to bear a grudge against Trucy. Or rather, one magician who has a reason to bear a grudge against Troop Grammary. Oh?
No way! Is something wrong, Mr. Justice?
Your Honour, the defence wishes to submit evidence at this time.
I see. And what sort of evidence do you have for us?
Evidence that points to the real killer, the one who had a motive to commit this crime.
What?
And what have you come up with this time, defence? Trucy Wright is the sole heir to the Troop Grammary and its name. This puts her square in the crosshairs of one particular magician. And this piece of evidence points to the one person with a grudge against Miss Wright.
And who exactly are you naming, Mr. Justice?
13 years ago, the great Mr. Rhesus belonged to Troop Grammary. Then the troop ousted him, and Mr. Rhesus vowed to get revenge on them someday. And what better way to accomplish that than through the ruination of their sole heir?
But Mr. Rhesus is the victim, Mr. Justice. You named a dead man as your suspect.
But is he really dead?
What do you mean, is he really dead?
The fact that Mr. Rhesus is the victim is what's throwing you off. And how about we consider this possibility? What if the man who died on that stage yesterday wasn't Mr. Rhesus? What? You mean the victim was an imposter?
Not Mr. Rhesus. Then what about the real Mr. Rhesus?
It would mean the real Mr. Rhesus is still alive. That's absurd.
Mr. Justice, who is the real Mr. Roosas if not the victim of this case?
It's all coming together now. Finally see the gimmick, the trick to this entire case. This should explain everything, Your Honor. The real killer, the one who entered Troop Grammary and wanted to sully its name. The magician lurking in the shadows who set up a fake Mr. Roosas in his stead. The real Mr. Roosas is...
Take that!
Well, that's...
Yes, yes it is. Roger Wright is the real Mr. Roosas.
What?
Objection!
Oh, holy red pepper. Oh, hello, red pepper. Your impudent seeds spout naught but meaningless empty words. You can't possibly have proof to support such an outlandish theory.
It's not a bad idea for a soap opera. But not even die-hard fans of the genre would stick around past the pilot.
You want proof? Well, I've got proof. I can prove it by... proving that the Mr. Roosas in yesterday's magic show was a fake. And to do that... I just need you to look at this spot on this poster.
Take that!
This is the injury Mr. Roosas sustained while practicing a magic trick 13 years ago. However, the video the victim shot of himself shows no trace of that injury.
Oh my, you're absolutely right.
Now, Mr. Ratons, what do you suppose we'd find if we took a look at your right forearm? Is there by chance a nasty 13-year-old scar under that sleeve of yours? Well, Mr. Ratons, why don't you roll up your sleeve and let the court have a look? Or are you hiding something else up there? Come on now, I have nothing up my sleeve. I don't need to hide anything up there, because I require no tricks or gimmicks. You see, my magic is the real deal. Is this what you were hoping to see? Oh, there it is, the scar! Just as I thought. That's right, I'm the forgotten magician, abandoned to the dark understage of history. The great Mr. Roosas.
This...
He's totally... absurd. How ironic, wouldn't you say? This odious mark carved into me by that Troop Grammary will bring me back into the limelight once more. Strange are the karmic threads before me. If the witness is the real Mr. Roosas, then who is the victim who perished in the magic show? He was but a fan. I met him on one of my programs several years ago. He said he had become a magician out of admiration of the
for the great Mr. Rusus. In confidence, I told him my true identity and let him take me on my mantle. But when did this man take over for you? About 2 years ago. I taught him my tricks and even acted as his producer. And so a mere amateur became a popular magician overnight. Courtesy of my magic, on the stage we call television. Hope you enjoyed the show.
You really had us all fooled.
Mr. Ratings, or should I say Mr. Rezus. In your hatred of true grammar, you killed the victim, Mr. Mystery. And then set up Miss Wright to take the fall, didn't you? You did it all just to tarnish the grammary name.
I have no idea what you're talking about, lad. I set up a prank, that much is true, but it was simply a harmless joke on Trucy, I assure you. Yet she learned of the plan and made use of it to commit murder. That is how strongly the criminal element runs in the blood of these grammaries.
Objection!
But if it was a secret prank plan that very few people knew about, couldn't you have been the one to use it for murder instead?
Nah.
Yikes!
Eek!
His head!
Just kidding.
What the heck was that?
Heed my words, lawyer lad, or I fear your grasp on reality is slipping. I do believe I told you that my magic is real, and employs neither tricks nor gimmicks.
Enough with the ambiguity. Why don't you make your point already?
My alibi is as pristine as ever. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Shamadi?
Yes, I suppose that is correct. The witness does have a solid alibi.
What?
Recall, defense, that at the time of the magic show, Mr. Ratings was at Take 2 TV. A fact that many people can easily attest to. That's right. I forgot all about that.
So what do you think, Your Honour? Would you like me to testify on the matter?
Yes, I think you had better. Please tell the court more about your alibi.
Very well then. On with the show. Are you watching, Magnifi Grammary? The time has finally come for my magic to snuff out your precious pedigree. The Grammary line will be no more. I was at the TV station at the time of the Penrose performance. I was busy working on another TV program. I could spare no time for the magic show. Do ask my staff if you doubt my claim. And there it is, a simple and perfect alibi. No tricks, no gimmicks, just the truth. Do you understand now, perhaps? I did not grace the theatre with my presence until after the incident. So how could I have committed the murder?
Staff did say he was there at the station. So it sure does sound like a rock-solid alibi. That can't be right. If Mr. Ratings is the killer, he'd had to have been at the theatre. There's gotta be a hole somewhere in his story.
I assure you there are no holes on Mr. Roos's stage. No tricks, no gimmicks. True magic doesn't need trapdoors to escape through. Do enjoy my show to the fullest. And my real alibi.
You did come to the theatre eventually, isn't that right?
Indeed. Anxious to see how the show was progressing, I made my way to the theatre. Let's see, my journey took about 10 minutes by car.
You actually been at the theatre during those 10 minutes killing the victim?
Allow me a stab at reading your mind. Could I have been at the theatre during those 10 minutes killing the victim?
Knowing that.
But no, I took a taxi. The driver can attest to that. Feel free to call the taxi company if my word does not satisfy you. The driver is a big fan of the ratings Roger. I even gave him my card.
Gave the driver his card? That's very clever of him.
You might as well give it up, lad. Questioning real magic is a fool's errand. Besides, you know very well what I was doing at the time of the incident.
Hold it!
What was this other TV show you were working on? My own special project. You see, One moment. Perhaps this is more appropriate. It's a Ratings Roger special production. Yeah, hang loose, baby. It's called Desperation Regeneration.
Switch personas just to say that. What's the show about?
Washed up has-been singers and comedians get together and play musical chairs. The winner of the game is given a second chance at their career. A priceless prize for chumps who's washed up too early in life. Sounds great, right?
Might I suggest you appear on that show, Mr. Justice? As the ex-lawyer who used to make ridiculous bluffs in courts have faded sadly into obscurity. Let the Ratings Raj produce my debut, not in this lifetime. You have great reactions. Who knows, TV might be your true calling.
Hey, whose side are you on? In any case, I was overseeing production of this program during the Penrose performance.
Hold it!
How do we know these staff members aren't in cahoots with you?
I make it my business to perform solo. My magic is neither need nor want of assistance. After all, one of them could reveal the secrets behind my magic, could they not?
So he doesn't trust anybody, huh? He's the complete opposite of Trucy. There were many people there in the studio audience who saw the witness as well. Even if he had been able to persuade his own staff to cover for him, he could not have convinced so many complete strangers to do the same. He really has made a rock-solid alibi for himself.
Yeah, it's almost too good, you know. It's eerie how perfect it is. Has all been revealed to you now?
Hold it!
I've got it. Do you have a brother? A brother that looks exactly like you, maybe? Again with the twins business. You think the audience will let you get away with using the same gimmick twice in a row?
If you do not believe him, Defense, why not investigate for yourself? Though I am sure your efforts will prove to be thoroughly fruitless. Yeah, I guess the twins theory is a little far-fetched.
His alibi really is airtight. I believe we've heard enough. While I believe the witness does indeed harbour some ill will against the defendant, there is no reason to doubt that he was at the TV station at the time of the incident.
Yes, the facts prove that it was impossible for the witness to have been involved with this crime. These last rites for the victim have dragged on long enough. The soul of the victim himself is so bored that it is resting on top of your Honor's head.
It is?
The time has come. Let us punish the sinner and guide the victim's soul to the Twilight Realm. Apollo, Trucy will be thrown in prison, and we'll be out of a job. But if you catch tasty fishies, will you sell me some at a good price? Told you I have absolutely zero intention of going off on a tuna boat. Think justice. You have to figure this out. It's no use. Can't find a single flaw. So what now?
Behold my never-ending magic show. Come for the awe-inspiring showmanship of the great Mr. Roos, and stay for my grand illusion until the end of time.
Wait, is he saying we're still trapped inside some sort of illusion of his? That's what professional magicians do. They make their audience see something that isn't really there. In other words, you make us see illusions, right? We call it misdirection. While we keep you busy believing one thing, we're busy making something else happen. What we say is there really isn't, and what we say isn't there actually is. Could it be? You know what, Mr. Ratings? I guess we have all been spectators to the elaborate illusions you prepared for us. An illusion that has suddenly turned our attention towards something you wanted us to see.
What are you going on about, lad?
Have you got something, Apollo? I just remembered something Trucy said about misdirection. What a magician says is there really isn't, and what they say isn't there actually is. If we've all been taken for a ride by Mr. Rayton's magic, then maybe he's made us see something that wasn't really there. It's time to rethink all of my assumptions about this case. What have we been made to believe was there when it actually wasn't? What have we taken to be the absolute facts of this case? I reevaluate the validity of all these things, then just maybe... Athena? There's something uncanny about this case. Okay, what is it? Rayton's alibi. It's too perfect. That's true. It's like it's impossible to break no matter how hard we try. Maybe that's the trick. Maybe that's exactly what he wants us to think. I'm not following. We're not making any headway here because we've been so focused on breaking his alibi. Oh, I think I get it. You're saying he's using misdirection on us, right? It's definitely a possibility.
Would the defense care to share with everyone what it's discussing over there?
Your Honor, we believe that if we were to reconsider a certain assumption, we may finally arrive at the truth. In fact, I think we'll even finally see who's hiding behind the curtain, so to speak.
And what is this certain assumption you're thinking of?
This is the one key assumption we've been taking for granted this whole time. What if the culprit was somewhere other than the theatre at the time of the crime? What if there was some way to commit the murder without actually being there? If that were the case, then Mr. Rayton's perfect alibi would become irrelevant.
Objection.
how could one person stab another to death with a sword without physically being there? Furthermore, we all saw what appeared to be the culprit's shadow in the footage.
Objection!
But couldn't we just as easily assume that the shadow does not belong to the culprit?
Well, if it's not the culprits, then whose is it?
I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm pretty sure I'm on the right track. We've all seen something that looks like this shadowy shape before, Your Honor. During the magic show itself.
In that case, please point it out. Please point it out in the show footage for us.
This is the thing that looks suspiciously similar to the shadowy figure of the culprit.
Take that!
Doesn't this shadow resemble the suspicious shadowy figure?
Now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it?
Miss Wright, could you identify this shadow for the court? Let's see. I believe that's Mr. Hat's shadow. It's from when he's being pulled up from the stage to the catwalk overhead by wire. And could this shadow that's shown later in the footage be Mr. Hat too? No, that's not possible. After Mr. Hat was pulled up to the catwalk, he stayed up there. In other words, this second shadow is from some other figure being pulled up.
Some other figure? I'm afraid you'll need to be more specific than that, Mr. Justice.
He's right. We've come this far. I'll just have to figure it out from the clues I have on hand.
What is the second shadow shown in the footage?
Take that!
We consider what was happening on the stage at the time. There is only one answer. The shadow belonged to the fake Mr. Roos. In other words, Mr. Man of Mystery.
The victim?
Please take a look at the prank plan script. Mr. Mystery was to pretend to be dead and then fly up into the air after that. Isn't that right, Mr. Ratons?
Indeed. And what of it?
I contend that that's exactly what happened. The victim was wearing a stunt harness around his waist. It was most likely attached to a stunt wire so that he could be pulled up into the air.
So you're suggesting that, after pretending to be dead in the coffin, the victim flew up into the air just as the prank script says?
Exactly. We just couldn't see him go flying up because the dragon was blocking our view. And that last trick, ladies and gentlemen, is the true piece de resistance of the culprit's murderous magic show. Don't tell me. You've got it all figured out? Yes, I think so. We can just look beyond Mr. Rating's last bit of misdirection. We should finally be able to see the real truth. The victim must have been pulled up to the catwalk just like Mr. Hat. Hit the cushioning up there with considerable force. I just have to figure out what else happened up there at that time.
Are you ready to elaborate, Mr. Justice?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready.
In that case, please answer me this. Why did the culprit make the victim fly up into the air like that?
To murder him. Just why did the culprit have the victim fly up after he appeared in the coffin? And how did the victim actually die? And he was only pretending to be dead in the coffin. If we can figure out how these two questions relate, the answer should become clear. Could it be? Mr. Mystery must have thought that he was still just... Mr. Mystery must have thought he was still just part of a prank when he appeared on stage. He probably didn't suspect a thing as he was being pulled into the air. After Miss Wright was called backstage, and just as the set piece fell. But the culprit had already planted the real murder weapon in a cushion in the catwalk. It was probably a knife or blade of some sort. What? You mean? Yes, it really was a magical murder. Just as the prank group said, Mr. Mystery was whisked up into the air. And straight into a blade there in the catwalk. In other words, this murder was committed remotely through the use of a magic trick. What?
Remotely?
Using this method, it wouldn't matter where Mr. Ratings was at the time of death.
But how exactly does it work, Mr. Justice?
Just before the murder occurred, a dragon set piece was up in the catwalk. It and Mr. Man of Mystery were connected to each other by a wire at the time. By carrying out the prank plan, Betty made the dragon set piece fall, which caused Mr. Mystery to rocket straight up. And into the blade in the cushion. The cushion was high up enough to be hidden from the audience's view. That's why nobody saw the blade. Oh, then that big gash in Mr. Hat's cape. The blade must have been set up overhead some time before the magic show. Mr. Hat must have been slashed by it too when he was pulled up to the cushion. I can't believe it. I had no idea. I was told that Tracy would freak out if I made the set piece fall. That's the only reason I did it. You were used, Betty. Roger Ratings used you. I thought he was my little puppet to boss around, but it was the other way around. After the incident occurred, Mr. Ratings arrived at the theatre. He got the murder weapon and swapped the rubber sword with the bloodied steel one. That's also when he lowered the victim's body down to the stage. But how did he have time to do all that? When the set piece fell, the audience was evacuated from the building. He was able to do all those things after the fact because there was no one around to see.
A horrific murder camouflaged by a spectacular magic show. That sounds like the kind of murder only a magician could pull off.
As long as the show proceeded as it was scripted, Mr. Mystery was doomed to die. And that's why it was you, Mr. Ratings, who killed the victim, all the way from the TV station. This prank plan, or should I say murder plan, proves your murderous intent.
Gramarye!
Enough. You dim-witted, ignorant imbecile, putrid red pepper. You can't possibly have a counter-argument to make. Talk about not knowing when to let it go and move on. Do you have a rebuttal or something, Prosecutor Shamadi? No blade of any kind was found in the catwalk, which means you have no evidence to support your theory. But Mr. Rayton's retrieved it after the fact. Which still leaves you with no way to prove your wildly fantastic remote murder theory. But without proof, does it not make more sense to believe that the murder was committed there on the stage? That's where the bloodstain stored was found after all.
That is a very good point.
Was the only person who have committed the crime there on the stage. Trucy Wright remains the prime suspect. It would appear that what you call truth is little more than a cheap parlor trick. In the end, you have done nothing to prove the accused innocence. It is time at last to let it go and move on.
Are you seeing this magnific gramarye? My magic is exacting punishment on your granddaughter. The gramarye name is done for.
Hello, we need to hit them with a decisive piece of evidence here. No, that's just what I was thinking.
Mr. Justice, do you or don't you have anything to prove that the witness committed this remote murder you proposed?
Of course I do, Your Honor. This entire incident was carried out exactly according to the script. Right, so theoretically there should be no evidence for us to find or use. Which means our best bet is to see if something unscripted happened. There's gotta be something Raytons couldn't have foreseen. Once I find it, that's how I'll expose this murderous trick. Get ready, Mr. Raytons, because I'm about to reveal the secret of your magic. There are no tricks or gimmicks here, just some good old-fashioned logic. As long as the magic show went as scripted, the murder would happen without fail. Everything in this case was carefully planned so that no evidence would be left behind. Still, one thing happened that definitely wasn't in the plan. What part of the magic show wasn't a part of the show's original script? Bonnie's missed it. Bonnie made a mistake during Trucy's escape trick. What mistake did Bonnie make during the magic trick? Mistake expositioning. Because Bonnie placed Mr. Hat to the right of the coffin instead of the left, off to the left, Trucy had to reappear on the side of the coffin opposite to the one in the show's script. But the culprit didn't know that when he first arrived at the theatre, which means he was bound to make a slip-up when he tampered with the crime scene. Which part of the culprit's cover-up attempt was affected by Trucy's new position? Blood in the coffin hole. Thinking Trucy had appeared on the left of the culprit must have put blood in the left hole. The blood was eventually discovered in the right hole during the police investigation. The killer had originally put the blood on the left side. That means he must have tampered with the scene again afterwards to make it line up with the facts. To make the crime scene consistent with the facts, the culprit must have swapped the coffin sides. That's right. The left and right panels of the coffin are interchangeable. The culprit must have switched the two panels to make the bloodstain fit the facts. The switch might have also given rise to something unnatural. I remember now. There was something unnatural about the coffin, and it's just the evidence I need. Sorry, Mr. Ratings, but I have some very conclusive proof of your guilt. Another bluff, is it? There's no way you have anything of the kind. My magic is real, No, there are tricks and gimmicks to it, just like any other illusion. What? After the murder, you switched the left and right panels of the coffin, didn't you? And because you did, you left behind something very unnatural for us to find. This proves that Roger Ratings tampered with the crime scene after the murder took place.
Take that!
The fingerprint results.
What about the fingerprints is unnatural?
Let's take a look at the prints of the victim left inside the coffin, shall we? If the victim was facing forward in the coffin, his prints should have looked like this. However, what we found was... they were facing the opposite direction. It's quite unnatural for the prints to be facing the wrong way, wouldn't you agree?
It is strange, isn't it? But how did they get this way?
They got this way because the culprit thought the magic show had gone according to script. The culprit thought Mr. Hat would be on the left side of the coffin, and that Miss Wright would also pop up on the left of the coffin as per the show's script. He then assumed she had thrust the sword into the hole on the left side of the coffin. That's why he put the blood in the left hole when he was trying to cover up his crime. But sometime after leaving the bloodstain, the culprit must have realised his mistake. He found out that, due to Bonnie's mistake, Mr. Hat was on the right of the coffin. And that despite the script, Miss Wright had thrust the sword into the hole on the right. In short, the hole with the blood in it was not the The hole with the blood in it was on the side opposite the one that Trucy used. To make the blood's location fit the facts, he had to tamper with the evidence yet again. So he tried to cover his tracks by switching the coffin's left and right panels.
Oh, and that's how the fingerprints in the coffin ended up backwards. Because the culprit switched the two side panels around, the prints ended up facing the opposite direction. But instead of going to all that trouble with the panels, why didn't the culprit just wipe the blood away and redo it on the other side?
I'm afraid that wouldn't have worked, Your Honour. Because of a little something called luminol testing.
Ah, right, luminol. I almost forgot. Luminol can detect trace amounts of blood, even if it's been wiped away, right?
That's right. Wiping the blood away would have only served as proof of his meddling. How about it, Mr. Ratings? I did a pretty good job figuring out your trick, didn't I?
Objection!
Trucy Wright could have done the same just as easily. You have no proof that it was this witness who tampered with the evidence.
Objection!
Ah, but I do have proof. What? The person who was in the magic show would never have made the mistake of putting the blood on the wrong side. Least of all Miss Wright, who surely would have remembered she was on the other side.
Oh my, you're absolutely right.
Why, you impudent. I'm sure you realise by now, Prosecutor Shamadi, that your claim that Miss Wright is the culprit just doesn't hold up. You and the accused are most certainly... Really, Miss Wright and I. Because I think you're the one with a ticket there. Because I think you're the one with a ticket there for trying to convict an innocent girl.
Prosecutor Samadhi, are you alright?
As for the true culprit, he is someone who knew how the show was supposed to go, but didn't actually see it. And someone who had the chance to tamper with the crime scene after the incident. And the only person who fits the bill is you, Roger Ratons.
Grammar!
All of the secrets to your tricks have been revealed. With no tricks left, I'm afraid your show has been cancelled. Permanently. All of my secrets have been revealed, you say?
Don't make me laugh, boy. Mine is the true real magic. There are no secrets to reveal. Behold, ladies and gentlemen, the true power of the great Mr. Roosus. Witness a magic far greater than true gramarys. Burn. Crumble. Fall to my furious flames. The great Mr. Roosus will bring an end to you all. And now for the final heir to the grammary name, right here, right now, you too. Huh? No, this isn't right. No, I didn't do anything wrong. No, it's not my fault. I'm not the one to blame. I'm the victim here. What? Stop! No! Curse you, Grammarly!
I wish they wouldn't auto-text that.
Curse those Grammarys. It's all because of them. Even now they woo me. Curse them all to the abyss.
Do you really hate us that much? Does your hatred run that deep? Deep enough to kill an innocent man?
You're damn right. You have no idea what humiliations I had to suffer. Your grandfather, Magnificent Grammary, kicked me out after I got hurt practicing my magic. He said I was too unskilled, that I would mess up on stage. He threw me out of the troupe just because he was worried about his own reputation. Since I was but a child, it was always my dream to become a great magician. But that Magnifi, he took it all from me.
That's no excuse. That's no reason to do something so evil. Magic is supposed to make people happy, not used as a means for murder.
What's the big deal? I just used what I had available to me, that's all.
I get it now. That attitude toward magic is why my grandfather kicked you out. You don't deserve to call yourself a magician.
Deserve? I don't know about that. After all, you were completely taken in by my magic, were you not? If not for that lawyer over there, you would be on your way to prison as we speak.
You're right. I didn't see through your tricks. You see? So in the end, Troop Grammary was defeated by the great Mr. Rosus. You're not fit to lecture me from on high, Trucy Wright. You don't even deserve to call yourself a magician, you naive greenhorn. Take that, Grammary. You lose. Anyone needs to learn to let it go and move on. It's this guy. This cord and my prison cell can both burn in the flames of my creation.
Bailiff, take Mr. Ratings away. And bring a fire extinguisher, just to be safe. It looks like we've reached the end. I feel as though I've been watching a grand magic show.
It was close, but we just barely made it, though. Through somehow. Huh? Why does Trucy look so down?
Miss Wright,
Yes, Your Honor?
I'm about to announce my verdict. Could I see that wonderful smile of yours? That smile of a true entertainer, as I do.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, this court finds the defendant Trucy Wright not guilty. Court is adjourned.
Thank you for everything, Polly. Oh, Trucy, grazie a Dio. Now you can open your show tomorrow, just as planned. Yep, and it's all thanks to you two. Oh, but now that Mr. Rosus is gone, I need to find somebody to replace him. I don't like the way she's looking at me. Trucy, I'm so sorry about everything. Hey, what are you apologizing for? Roger Ratings used us. We're victims too. He even made me an accomplice to murder. But Betty, we have to take some of the blame for this too, you know. Even if we didn't know he was planning to kill Mr. Mystery, we did cooperate with him. It's all my fault, isn't it? Neither of you is to blame. The only one in the wrong is the person who used magic to commit murder, Roger Ratings. Don't you think I know that? Say what you want, but don't think for a second that I don't still hate you. Yes, she really does hate me. But Betty, why? You used to be a huge fan of Trucy's. Hey, shut up! I've always hated her! Really? But if we hadn't seen Trucy's magic show, we never would have tried to become professional magicians ourselves, right? Speak for yourself! But Betty, you still have an auto- Just shut up! Was she acting that way this whole time because she secretly loves Trucy? Wow, Trucy, I never knew that being the best could be so tough. Come on, Bonnie, we're leaving. We have to get ready for tomorrow's show. You're really excited about performing with Juicy again, aren't you? That's not true, so zip it, dummy! Polly? Do you think I really am a naive greenhorn? Huh? No way, she's not.
After all, you were completely taken in by my magic, were you not? If not for that lawyer over there, you would have been on your way to prison as we speak.
You're right. I didn't see through your tricks.
You see, so in the end, Troop Grammar was defeated by the great Mr. Rhesus. You're not fit to lecture me from on high, Trucy Wright. You don't even deserve to call yourself a magician, you naive greenhorn.
Trucy, don't tell me you're taking what Wright said to heart. Well, maybe a little. I didn't see through his tricks and let myself be taken in by his magic. I can't trust myself anymore. Maybe he was right to call me a greenhorn.
You shouldn't take stock in his words. He doesn't even know the first thing about you. You're a wonderful grammar magician. You should be proud of yourself.
Thank you, Apollo. But what makes you say that?
I know you're a wonderful grammar magician because of this.
Take that!
My grandfather's notebook?
The Grammar Creed. A true entertainer always keeps a smile on their face. When you performed your magic trick in court today, you showed the world your dedication to your troop's creed. Even through all the jeering, you kept a smile on your face and won the crowd over. You are everything Magnifi could have hoped for in an heir. You are a great magician, Trucy.
Great magician? Me?
You really are. That's why you don't have to worry about what Wright said.
Oh, Polly, thank you. Still, couldn't have done it without you. I would have lost my nerve if I'd been alone up there. I was able to keep on smiling because of you.
Me?
I remembered what you said to me in the detention center.
After all, you're sure you swapped the swords, right?
Yes, I remember doing it.
Then I just know it wasn't your fault, Trucy.
But how can you say that? We don't have any proof it wasn't me. I mean, I know you're a great lawyer, Polly, but...
I believe in you, Trucy. I believe in your skill as a professional magician. So I'm going to prove your innocence. Don't worry. You're going to be fine.
Your words were what kept me going. Apollo, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now I can be everything I was meant to be.
Trucy's real smile is the best. So glad I could help her make that happen. Emma?
I'm really sorry, Trucy, for everything. But why? Well, I wasn't able to convince Prosecutor Shamali what a good person you are. And I had to testify against you, too. You have nothing to apologize for. You were just doing your job. You're too kind. Oh, I don't know about... Huh? Is something wrong, Emma? Oh.
Prosecutor Shamadi, what are you doing here? Detective Sky.
Yes. I require your forensic expertise in order to close this case. Come, let us go. Wait, Prosecutor Shamadi. The trial is over, Mr. Justice. You and I are strangers once more, with no further need to interact. Strangers. Have you really forgotten all about me? What? You really changed, Nayuta. Telling me to let it go and stuff. What happened to you? Oh, lawyer of impure soul. I have nothing to say to the likes of you. Are you serious, Nayuta? Now, if you'll excuse me. There he goes. What was that all about, Apollo? How do you know Prosecutor Shamadi? Let's just say we're old acquaintances. Acquaintances? It seemed like something more than that. Yeah, well... You don't like to talk about your past, do you? Because you always change the subject. I guess I'll have to talk about it someday. For now... Come on, let's forget about the past and celebrate Trucy's future. Sure, if you say so. Hey, it's Mr. Wright. Put him on speakerphone, Apollo. What's up, Mr. Wright? Apollo, how's Trucy? What happened at the trial? Did you get a not guilty verdict? Mr. Wright, slow down. Everything's fine. Hi, Daddy. I'm okay now. She was found not guilty in a very dramatic turnabout, plus we saved the office. It was a great victory for Apollo. Ooh, that's a load off my mind. I can't thank you enough, Apollo. Now I know I can trust you to hold down the fort anytime. Me? Really? Yes, you. You're a real full-fledged lawyer now in my eyes. A full-fledged lawyer? Still can't wrap my mind around it. Thank goodness you were there to take care of everything. And thank you, Apollo. No need to go that far, boss. Especially not in front of everyone. Oh, and by the way, I won't be able to make it to tomorrow's show. So I was hoping you could go. You'll do that for me, won't you? Of course. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Full-fledged. So, Daddy asked you to come to tomorrow's show, huh? That's my assistant, right? No. He just asked me to go cheer you on. Okay, then I'll be sure to save you the best seat in the house, Polly. The best seat in the house? I really appreciate the thought, but... Good, then it's settled.
Objection!
I should have known. This is what she meant. Magical girl Tracy Wright will now perform her greatest illusion yet. There are no tricks or gimmicks here, ladies and gentlemen. This is real magic. Wait a minute, you're kidding, right? This is a trick or gimmick, right? I'm too young to die. Now then, Mr. Hat, you know what to do with that sword. No, wait, stop. No! Ah! And that is how Trucy and Grammaryland ended on a rousing high note. With a big round of applause and Polly's ear-splitting scream. What kind of an ending is that? God, there's just something about the voice I gave to Bonnie. I should never ever do that voice again. I'm gonna be speaking for a long time. Just destroys my vocal cords for some reason. Oh well. That will be all for now then. And we shall be back tomorrow with the start of the next case. For now though, bye!